Hello. Must not have had the YouTube set out all the notifications again. We should do some Gregorian chants. Hey, Boggle Queen, I got a couple. I think I got one of your stories in here. I don't remember. Maybe a couple of them. I don't know. But just like Chris Watts, the April Tinsley killer, the man who was arrested finally using Paranormal nanolab technology and DNA, ancestral DNA research, John D. Miller. He was arrested just earlier this year after, gosh, what was that? Almost 30 years out on the run, where he left complete DNA samples even back then, or during that time, and is an absolute barbarian. He taunted police too. I wonder if they've ever been able to link him to other cases. But I don't think so, because it almost seems like he knew when they arrested him that it was because of April Tinsley. When they asked him, "Do you know why you're in here, John?" And he said, "April Tinsley." So I don't know, or does everybody in here know all about the April Tinsley case? Because I can do a quick sort of recap of it, if you'd like. And then we can get to this video here. Okay. This is April Tinsley right here. Let me see if I can find the... I have a folder on that. I wasn't really planning on going through it again, but let's see. Let me check it out right now. Aren't you guys all pretty much Chris Wadded out at this point? Not that that's an actual term, but he's becoming, you could almost use it as one, I guess. Alright, yes, I found the folder. I have this huge folder filled with April Tinsley information. So we can go over part of this stuff. It's pretty crazy, really. That's right. Okay, so I'm going to turn down this music a little bit here. And on April 1st, 1988, ironically, her name is April, but 1988, April Tinsley was playing outside with her friends in, I believe it's Fort Wayne, Indiana, I believe. And she was playing with her friends, and then she went and was going to go get her umbrella because it started to rain, and then she just disappeared from sight. And then there was a witness that said they saw, I believe it was a blue truck related to her disappearance, and that was it. And then I think 3 or 4 days later, her body was found in a ditch by a jogger. Okay, and I was able to find all those locations by looking at old aerial shots. All right, so let me get a better satellite image here. That looks really crappy. I'm not sure. Doesn't seem to be updating. You see that? Look at that. But she went missing in the town, let's see, right around, I think I even have her home marked somewhere on this map here. And maybe not. Maybe I need to unmark some things here. Okay. Yeah, look how blurry that Google Earth is right now. Here, I'm going to shut down Google Earth and then open it back up again. All right. Sometimes you got to just reboot something and then it'll work. Yeah, it was crazy on the one of those lives I was on. I think it was on J for Justice. Our nemesis was showing up in there in the chats, making comments. It's pretty crazy. Had to put her on timeout in there. It was getting kind of nutty. Alright, so I'm reloading up Google Earth and... Whoa, oh wow, that's so clear that you're even getting concrete on the ground. Okay, see, this is a lot better right now. Okay, so now we can see it. So it's around in this area she was abducted in 1988, April 1st, and apparently somebody in a blue truck picked her up and drove her away, and police immediately came out to help. And they didn't find her, but then 3 days later they found her body in a ditch, and we were able to locate the specific spot, and it was right here. I was looking at aerial photograph and had a general description. One thing that was pretty interesting is that you can see on satellite image that there was a driveway that was just a double driveway. It was split in the middle, so there was like a driveway on this side and a driveway on this side. So I wasn't sure about it. So then I went down the street view here and I looked, and you can see that they put in cement here later. So then I realized, oh wow, so they could drive in this way, and there was maybe some grass in here. So at the time, April, when they found her body, there was this grass in this area. So while this threw me off at first, I was able to figure it out later, and she was found right down here. Yeah, actually right here. Right down in here, I believe. Based on the crime scene photos. She was found there. Now, when they found her, they found a sex toy next to her. And this is one of those sex toys. It was made out of wood, and it grinds. It's like a weird grinder looking thing. Really crazy looking device. And they linked DNA to April, and they found other DNA on that. That's before DNA was really anybody even knew anything about it. Okay, they also didn't find one of her shoes. And this is one of the interesting things here. One of her shoes was missing from this location right here. And then when they eventually arrested the guy, well, let me get to that in a minute. It's pretty wild. So this is 1988, right? Then in 1990, they found these notes on a barn. So I mean, this is like real serial killer kind of stuff. But apparently he wasn't really a serial killer, but he wanted to be, it seems like. And I found the barn. It's right here. On this barn right here, there was a note, and it kept getting darker and darker every day. 3 consecutive days it got darker and darker. A kid noticed it and kept wondering about it. Now on this barn right here, a note was written, and they were able to determine that it was written by the killer of April Tinsley. Now look at the barn there, and I'm going to pull up the image right here. And here is what was on that barn. You can even tell it's the same kind of wood. It says, I kill 8-year-old April Marie Tinsley. I will kill again. Really, really poor writing. This guy had an IQ of an ant, but somehow was able to pull this off. So it's not just smart people that get away with crimes, because this guy is an absolute idiot. Okay? But somehow, well, it's smart enough to do that. But literally, if you know about him now, he's like a IQ of like 86. Whatever the minimum is, he's just above that. All right. So this is 1990 is when this note was on a barn, and they were able to determine that was written by the killer of April Tinsley. Now, I don't... Oh, and what's incredible is it shows you how good sleuthers are on the internet. Because sleuthers said... See this little H over here? You see that H off to the side? Can you guys make that out? Do I need to make this bigger? Hold on. Not smaller, but... See that H? And then it looks like there's even an A right there. You see that? I actually hadn't noticed that till just now. Well, over there, it said, have you found the other shoe yet? Something like that. And see, that shoe was missing, and that is why when you ask people, gosh, why don't the police give us all the information? Why don't they give us all the... That's exactly why, because he's the only person that knew that they didn't find the other shoe other than other police officers. So the only image that the public got was this image that you're looking at, and I'm pointing at the screen as if you can see my hand. But that's the only image that the public got, was the image that you're seeing right here. Let me, I'm sorry, I know I have my face on there. I can make it bigger. See, I kill 8-year-old April Marie Tinsley. Didn't even put the N in there. I willed killing again. I mean, just really terrible writing. But the public only saw this image, but some sleuthers thought maybe it says, have you seen, or I actually think somebody leaked that information to somebody, because that seems like a really wild stretch, but that was on the internet. And so they were able to tell, because that note was on the barn. Oh, thank you, Lauren Warshewski. Little moonwalk action for you. Amazingly, it fit right into the box that I had on the screen there. Crazy. So they were able to determine that the person who wrote the note was the killer of April Tinsley, because they said, have you found the other shoe yet? And they had found the other shoe. As a matter of fact, if you go back to the location they found her, see, look how, so notice where the barn with the note is, and then her body was found out here, and she was abducted in this area. So I think that this time they were kind of thinking, the FBI profile had it, they found him eventually exactly where they thought he might live. Pretty incredible. So where April was found right here, I guess they found her shoe, I can't remember the exact thing, but like 500 yards or so from where they found her. So he probably drove back again. What they think might have happened was that he dumped her body and the shoe was on, and then he drove away and then said, oh my God, I got the other shoe. Oh, of course he probably didn't say that. He would went, oh, because he's an idiot. And then he found the shoe, and then he drove back out there and he just threw it out the window somewhere. And they did find it. Right. Now, the next part that's interesting about this story, I think it's 2004. In 2004, they started finding these notes on bicycles in various parts. Now, I've actually have those mapped out in generality. I don't have the exact spot, but right where the pin is where... Now, some of them are right on the money, though, for sure. But see these note on bicycle basket. Bicycle note 2, I have not 2. Okay. And then there was other bicycle notes over here. And those notes would have notes to small children, because this guy is a pedophile. And inside the notes would be condoms that were used. So he gave his complete DNA profile, and at the time he probably felt comfortable because he knew he hadn't been in prison. And he also left an image of himself nude on a bed, maybe even in a hotel, but from the waist down, on this paisley blanket, basically. And here's, I don't want to get too graphic, but here's the toy that they found next to her. You see what I'm talking about as the crank on there? I mean, this guy, she's what, 8 years old? This guy's a freaking monster. And to be honest, he makes someone like Chris Watts look like an angel. Okay? Because Chris Watts, smothered somebody. He didn't go through and torture a little kid for hours and hours and hours. He's a freaking monster. But everybody's so infatuated with that case. Let's see. And here, here's a picture of April Tinsley. I got really, this case is one of the few that actually brought out emotions for me, because I try to be kind of neutral on everything. I was following this case for about 6 or so months prior to them even arresting anybody. I even messaged on Twitter Paul Holes, the East Area rapist hero, because I realized they have this perfect DNA sample from this case, so why don't you use the same thing? He never responded to me, but he responded to somebody else that I know. And he said, yes, we're now looking into that. So that was incredible. And geez, just not much after that, they narrowed it down and got the right guy immediately. The DNA actually led to a brother, I think. It was like, it wasn't even, when they did the genealogy research, they got it right down to the right person. And then they just waited outside. Then he threw something away. They took his DNA off of it, got the exact match, brought him into the jail, and he said, yes. They asked him, why do you think you're here, John? And he said, April Tinsley. Although he probably went, April Petty. The guy's an absolute waste of, like, earth material. Just nothingness. A barbarian that really should never have been. Okay? Yeah. So I believe it was in 2016, Paranormal Nanolabs actually got involved. And they came up with an image of what he might look like back then, because nobody knows what he looks like now. And this is kind of what they came up with, I believe, right there. And it's amazing because his eye color, everything's exactly the same. He just doesn't look like this guy. The killer looks like a freaking, just a whack job. Okay. So let me show you some of these letters that he put on the bike, though. Listen, look at these. Hi, honey. I've been watching you. I am same person that kidnap and rape and kill April Tinsley. You are my next victim if you don't report this to the police. See, he really wanted to hear about himself in the police. I don't see this in the paper tomorrow or on the local news. I will blow up your house is what he says in reality. If you do the analysis, that's what he says. And here's another one, I think. I am the same person our kidnapped and rapian murder April Tinsley. You are next. Ha ha. God, you're so funny. All we just need is a bat now. Yeah, so this is the one that says, your house, killing everyone, but you will be mine. That's what the finish of the previous message was. And I think this is the whole thing, so we can read it again. Hi, honey, I've been watching you. I'm the same person that kidnapped and raped and killed Ape Royal Tinsley. You are my next victim. If you don't report this to police, I don't see this in the paper tomorrow or on the local news, I will blow your house, blow up yours, what he's trying to write there, house, killing everyone, but you will be mines. I mean, he's just he's a freaking monster, right? Yeah, Crime Watch Daily did a show on it not too long ago. Let's see. I think they have some information in this. Let's see. Yeah, so they went over all this information too. And there's the Paranormal Nanolabs right there. That's the image right there. See, that's when he was younger, and then they made him older. See that right there? That's cool. Look at the way I do it. You can get a little, looks almost like an animation, but you wouldn't see that if you played it.
It's amazing. This is the first time
So that's what Paranormal Nanolabs came up with, was that image. Right, now look at his eye colors. Just make sure you see that. You see that? Okay, and all they can do is get you skin tone, like your freckle count, your hair color, your eye color, and that's about it, right? And ethnicity, I guess they have that too, but this is basically a tool to show you what the person in general looks like. The key that's came out in the last few years has been the genealogy research that's gone along with Paranormal Nanolabs, and that's what solved all these cases. The images, I don't think, have solved anything. All they do is let you get a kind of a glimpse at what they might look like. Okay, but as you'll see later, this guy looks like a normal person, where John D. Miller looks like a doofus, like just an absolute. Like if you said, "Hey, what's your name?" He'd say, "Let me think." Yeah, let me think. We'll figure it out in a couple minutes. Yeah. Yeah. So here's what the guy looks like, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. All right. I mean, just yeah. You're not going to see him. Anybody that looks anything like this guy working at NASA. Let's put it that way. And I'm literally talking about physical, like the look. Okay. I mean, normally you can't judge on something like that, but again, look at his eye color though. Absolutely perfect. Let me go get that John D. Miller. Let's find a better image of him. All right. There he is. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous individual there. And actually, I don't really care about looks like that, but I feel like making fun of this guy. Hope you don't mind. So there you go. See, there's the Paranormal Nanolabs, and then somebody took the time to put them together. Hopefully it's a bigger image in the article here. Let's see. Come on, load up, load up, load up. Now you're taking too long for me. Now look at, somebody tried to compare him over here to the Delphi guy. Yeah. I love how that happens in every case. Now there's a pretty good... Oh wait, this is my image right here. I made this. I can tell by the... so I made this for another video, and then somehow it's an image on YouTube. Never seen that before, but I made this one for one of the images for the thumbnail for my video. So if you look at the eye color, it's absolutely dead on. Look at that. I mean, they just absolutely nailed it. And this is what they said he looked like when he was younger, and that's what he looked like when he was younger. So it's pretty close, right? But I don't think he looks like this guy. Right? I mean, maybe if they opened his mouth a little bit and then put 3 teeth out of 32, it might look like the right guy. Or 4, I guess. Yeah. Look at this. Look at this right here. Just a... Yeah, just give me a minute with that guy with an aluminum bat. Jesus, just a disgusting pile of crap. Yeah, so yeah, this barbarian right here kidnapped April Tinsley, killed her, and he had raped her first, then killed her, and then he tormented the community for years and years. And the FBI, I think I actually have the document right here. Let me see if they, I don't know if this is it, or I think that's the affidavit. Let me see. FBI profile. See, this would be interesting. Let's read this. Ew, God, you never like to hear that sound when you're working on your computer. It's never good. Yep. Thank you. Yep. Oh, I have to sign in? Are you kidding me? Jesus. I've already activated this. What are you talking about? Let's see. It says, what do we know about April Tinsley's killer? You guys want to hear this? Hear this part here? Can you guys, are you guys still able to? Oh boy. Man, what's going on? Hopefully you're still hearing me right now. I have no idea though, to be honest with you. Can you guys still hear me? Looks like it. Okay. Wow. Everything just went low on memory. See, I think this next year I'll be getting a new computer. It's not, things aren't quite working the way they used to on here. All right, I'm going to read this. It says, what do we know about April Tinsley's killer? We call this individual a preferential child sex offender. By that we mean he has a long-term and persistent sexual desire for children. In this case, the offender has demonstrated a special sexual interest in little girls who have not yet reached puberty. In other words, he is still attracted to hairless, undeveloped girls. I mean, literally, this is how technical the FBI gets. The interest will not go away. Girls between the ages of 5 and 10 would greatly appeal to him. And he left all those notes on the bikes with girls that age. He may be married, however, the vast majority of preferential child sex offenders are not. If he has a long-term intimate adult partner, that partner will have an idea that this individual has a sexual interest in little girls, but may be in denial regarding the extent of that interest or his ability to act on it. This offender may establish, establish relationships that give him access to little girls. For instance, he may date or befriend someone in the little girl's family. Perhaps he'll seek employment or volunteer activities that give him proximity to little girls. And where they found him, he lived right next to a school. He will be drawn to places where children congregate, playgrounds, swimming pools, parks, etc. Wherever he goes, if a little girl is nearby, his eyes will follow her. He may go out of his way to interact with her. In unguarded moment, he may even make a casual sexual reference about a little girl, which, if overheard, would strike someone as very inappropriate, such as, she's a sexy little thing, isn't she? I gave that example. Most of us do not associate adult attention towards a child with sexual attraction. People noticing this interest in little girls may simply interpret it as someone who just loves kids. This offender prefers the company of children to the company of adults, and he may be socially awkward or inappropriate when interacting with adults. A preferential child sex offender tends to collect things that serve to support his fantasies and are consistent with his sexual preferences. In this case, since our offender preference is for little girls, he may collect images of little girls, perhaps clothed, candid pictures, or even child pornography, and probably both. He may take these pictures himself, or he may find them through other sources. He may also collect other items that are arousing to him and remind him of the little girls he wants. These other items could range from articles of clothing to advertisements depicting little girls to Hello Kitty items or any toys that little girls find appealing. Isn't this crazy? I mean, the FBI nails all this shit. I mean, they've got it down to a science, but it's unbelievable. It's weird to actually, it's hard to read shit like this, to be honest. The public tends to think that once a person kidnaps, rapes, and kills, he will always kidnap, rape, and kill. In reality, a preferential child sex offender can engage in a lot of different behaviors that satisfy his sexual needs, but do not rise to the level of prior offense. The offender may substitute nuance sex offenses like peeping, indecent exposure, and leaving obscene notes or sexual items for a child to find, like he did on the bikes. If the item is left in a mailbox or on the front door, the resident may think it was intended for the adult female in the home rather than the little girl who lives there. Oftentimes, these incidents are not reported because the significance of the offense is not recognized by citizens at the time. If the preferential child sex offender has a criminal history, it is more likely to involve sex offenses against children. After 2004, there has been no known activity by this offender, but we've seen gaps of years in his activity before. 1990, so that's when his first note on the barn was, and that was 2 years after the killing, and this could be explained in a number of ways. One, he could be institutionalized, hospital or prison. Two, he could have ongoing access to a victim that satisfies his desire for a child partner through a relationship with the adult caretaker. Three, he could have relocated. Or four, he could be deceased since June 2004. The primary value of describing this offender is to appeal for the public's help in identifying him. The offender has demonstrated that he has strong ties to northeast Fort Wayne and Allen County. So, I mean, even just doing that, look how crazy this is. Look at, right? So here's Fort Wayne, right? This area right in here. And let's see, where the hell was he? Yeah, and he was found, look at it, northeast. You get it? I mean, look how wild it is. Like, here's the town, right? And they said northeast. Look at this, northeast. And this is where they found John D. Miller. And here's something that's incredible. It's like, before he was even arrested, well, not incredible, but interesting to me, is that when we were looking into John D., this case, we didn't know who he was. I literally went to Street View in this town right here, and I was driving down the street by his bike, by the houses that had the notes on them. And we were literally right here on Street View. So, like, if you go to Street View here, and I was thinking, what if this guy was like a mailman or something? And that's just a thought that crossed my head. And I remember we were traveling down Street View like this. And while I was going down there, I saw a mailman, and I think it's still there right now if I do it. And there he is. There's a mailman right there. And again, everything went blank on my screen. Hopefully you guys can still see this. Probably should have rebooted before I came on. Hold on. I'm going to assume you can see. But anyways, there was a mailman right here. And I was like, wow, what are the odds of that? So, you know, I kept driving down like this, all the way into the town, because the other note was found just right over in this area. Right there. So we drove down here, looked around, and what's incredible is he was found right here in this trailer park. So, I mean, even when we were looking around right here, I mean, hell, on this street, when we were right there, we were literally only a third of a mile from his house where they ended up finding him. Yeah, hopefully you guys can still see me. I apologize. I've got something open that seems to be eating up a lot of memory or something. And I can't even see the chat anymore. Or there's show chat. Okay, let me pop it out. And there you are. But isn't that wild? We were just looking around in this area, and we were so close to him. And it's amazing how accurate the police were. And they were, the FBI, I mean. They were because they probably kind of looked at the layout here. April's body's there, yet there's notes on bicycles and the barn there, and she was abducted from here. So he's kind of, you know, not in the middle, but if you look at the directional, look at that. Everything kind of flows out like this. And I think they probably use things like that to determine that. Yeah, did I say, can you see me? I'm just mean, can you see my show? You know, when I say see me. Right. Because on my end, everything went dark. Like, lost the entire chat and the preview over here. So, I guess I can just assume things are working. So that was a really interesting case to look into, and I was so happy that they caught that guy. I was in shock actually, because I had just started covering him maybe 6 months prior to that. You guys can go back and watch my videos on it if you don't believe the story, but it's true. Accused Tinsley killer John D. Miller, the Barbarian, pleads guilty. All right, so here we go. And what he had to, as part of his deal, he had to tell what happened in front of the family and everybody in court. I'd like to see that video, if that exists at some point. Hey, Jay Case, thank you. I'll let the music play. "20 smackers from J. Case." I think it's gonna.
Slam this trashy POS. Thanks, Brother Hughes. My girl is 15, surfs and plays the uke. This poor family, rest her soul, rip April.
What is a ukulele? If so, my brother's really good at the ukulele. I don't know if that's what that is, though. I don't know. Hopefully that was correct. I'm just guessing ukulele. Is that right? Come on! Yay! It was right. Okay. Okay, let's watch this video. I haven't seen this yet. Oh, come on. Really? Oh, there's just so much going on. I don't have enough memory or something to play videos. It's wild. Let me shut these other ones down. Even though they're other articles. Maybe that's something to do with it. And I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, too. It's not like I don't have enough to to do this. Oh, there you go.
Homes at affordable prices. The top
Oh, and we got to watch an ad too.
new home builder in Fort.
All right. Let me know, ad, when you're done. And yes, I had to. You have some sites you have to turn ad blocker off. They've figured that out. Okay, here we go.
Tinsley, 30 years ago, has pleaded guilty. Good afternoon. I'm Alyssa Ivinson.
And I'm Michael Kuhn. Pat is off today. John Miller was scheduled to appear in court this morning to discuss a change of venue for his trial. While he was there, his lawyers entered a plea change. Wayne 15's Angelica Robinson was at the hearing that ended just a little while ago. She joins us now to tell us what happened. Angelica?
Today, John Miller was scheduled to appear in court for a change of venue hearing. Instead, he pleaded guilty to murder and child molesting in the April Tinsley case. The 8-year-old was abducted from her South Central 30 years ago. Her body found in a ditch 3 days later.
He looks like Jerry Lewis.
For the first time today, we heard John Miller admit to his role in her death. He read a prepared statement to the judge. In it, he said that April 1st, 1988, he abducted Tinsley. He said he knew she was under the age of 12, and he said that he had sexual intercourse with her and then strangled her with her own hands.
See, this reporter said it wrong. When he first said, I go, he strangled her with her own hands. I thought, God, he took her hands, put her own hands around her neck, and then squeezed. But in reality, it was he killed her with his own hands. Okay? So I almost ran with that, but I said, let me look into this. And it turns out it was he killed her with his own hands.
Tinsley's mother and family members sat front row, and they looked down as he described. In it, he said that April 1st, 1988, he abducted Tinsley. He said he knew she was under the age of 12, and he said that he had sexual intercourse with her and then strangled her with her own hands. Tinsley's mother and family members sat front row, and they looked down as he described the disturbing details of that crime. We did catch up with the lead homicide detective on that case. This is what he had to say about the case today.
I think hearing from him.
Here, I'll put it back there, but if you remember the where she was found, right here, that creek that guy was jumping around in. It's either, I think where you see him is actually on this side, looking around under, near that culvert. But hell, we could probably flip it back to that. Let's see.
Acknowledging the fact of what he did.
We did catch up with the lead homicide detective.
Yeah. So to me, that looks like it could be, if I could stop like right there, he's jumping over in this area. Because on this side, it doesn't quite look the same, but it's either this side or that side. But I think they found her right down in there. Okay.
On that case, this is what he had to say about the case today.
Yeah, I know, it is weird.
I think hearing from him, acknowledging the fact of what he did, should helpfully give the family some more closure. There's oftentimes with a jury that will have a guilty, somebody will be found guilty, and you never hear from the person acknowledging what they did.
Yeah, I think Chris Watts should have been required to do that. Like, the deal should have been for Chris Watts to say, hey, yes, we'll take death off the table, but you have to stand up and tell what you did. And we'll know if you're lying. And if you say anything incorrect, we'll put death penalty back up on there. But instead, it didn't happen. Maybe that was, they couldn't get that deal made.
As part of the plea deal, Miller will spend 50 years in prison for the murder charge and 30 years for child molesting. Those would be served consecutively. Now, a judge still has to approve that deal.
Look at that guy. He's a freaking monster.
A hearing is scheduled for December 31st for sentencing. Reporting live at the Allen County Courthouse, Angelica Robinson, Wayne 15 News.
Yeah. Pretty insane right there. That was absolutely one of the worst cases I've ever seen. The Barbarian. He closed down all this shit. Maybe this has something to do with a lot of stuff open there. Let me see if there's anything new in these other articles on it. Yeah, so he's 59 years old. So he was 29 when he did all this. Friday morning, 59-year-old John Miller changed his plea guilty in the murder of little April Tinsley. He'll face 80 years in prison, 50 years of the sentence for the murder, 30 years for the child molesting. During the hearing, Miller read a prepared statement saying he abducted 8-year-old April Tinsley, had sexual intercourse with her. He didn't mention that little toy, though, did he? Yeah. And, well, maybe he did when he in court. And strangled her with his bare hands. See, with his bare hands, not her hands. April's mother was in the courtroom. See, I've seen April's mother in a lot of different videos, and it's hard to picture her having to be there. April's mother was in the courtroom Friday. She cried as Miller was admitting what he did. It was 1988 when the 8-year-old was found in a rural drainage ditch. As 3 generations of detectives searched for the killer, he taunted them twice, leaving messages and more clues to his identity. Yeah. A barbarian. Yeah. All right. I'll be back in just a second. All right, hold on.
Love your channel everyone, thumbs up, heart.
Hey, thanks, Lanky Tor. Yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, damn it. Jesus. And by the way, hold on. Thank you. All right, thanks for waiting, everybody. And let's get those likes up, all right? I know there aren't a million people watching. There's too many people doing lives tonight. Apparently everybody's still into the Chris Watts case over and over and over again. Oh my God, he's still guilty, everybody. He's still guilty. You know, I don't mind talking about him here and there, but my God. Like every single text message, every single thing has to be parsed. I've told people that the Chris Watts case will last for 10 years because of all the godforsaken information they gave out. 5,000 pages. Right. So, anyways, let's get the likes up here, okay?
I'm tired of it, not 10 down, 15, all of I better dang beard on 15, I better dang beard on 15, 20, I better dang beard on 15, better dang beard on 20, down 5, better dang beard on 30, and 30, and 30, 25, better dang beard on 30, you want to put 30, sir, 25 of them, you're out, I better dang beard on 25, better dang beard on 30, 30, now 5, I'm 35. I'm tired of it, not 10 down, 15, all of I better dang beard on 15, I better dang beard on 15, 20,
get those likes up, get those liked 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 up.
You want to put 30, sir, 25 of them, you're out, I better dang beard on 25, better dang beard on 30, 30, now 5, I'm 35.
Okay, good. All right, what did we get up to there? That guy's the best auctioneer ever. I've showed him on my show a few times, but now I've added him to the my sound effects. And also I do have new sound effects from that Ada provided. So here's what her sound effect is.
Oh my god.
Ada's got the oh my god sound effect. Maybe when we see some crazy comment.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. That's awesome. So all the lives going strong out there, Wendy? Wendy's like, you gotta give Wendy some props. It's like she's like the queen of live shows. I haven't been on one show that I haven't seen her on there. And Gianna Fan isn't too bad either. She's all over the place. But I mean, if I go over and watch, what's his face? Stephen Lookner, there's Wendy. If I watch, Go Lightly, everyone, when I go watch her, boom, there's Wendy. If I watch, let's see, J for Justice, that's Jay, the number 4, Justice, a newer kind of channel. I guess they do crime, but they mainly cover Chris Watts at this point. She's on there too, and she is. And I was on their show last night. That was pretty fun. It was me, Marissa, which is Go Lightly channel, and then J for Justice, and then I think it's like Oni. It's hard to remember how to pronounce that name. But I think those two sound good together. Like they'd make a good podcast, I think. Yeah, it was pretty good. Did you see that, Joe? It was actually it was an interesting show. I actually liked the way we all were together. I wouldn't mind doing that every once in a while. That was pretty fun. Yeah, that was pretty fun, wasn't it? Yeah. Hey, Joe, are you smoking again? Puff, puff. I see that. Yeah, 24,000. Yeah, my subscribers have gone up a little bit. I've got to. My goal is, and it has been for a long time, is to be at 25,000 at the end of the year. And I'm feeling pretty good about it. Feeling pretty good. Yeah, I've actually been having fun going over to different channels and communicating with other YouTubers. I spoke with me, John Lorden, and I think it's True Crime Garage. We're all going to be working on something together. So we had a meeting this morning. Still trying to work that out a little bit, but yeah. And then I called Greeno's show today. Was on there. Talked to him a little bit earlier. Went on Go Lightly's channel for a little bit. Then was on J for Justice. Went on their show, but it kind of was hard to communicate because it was just like we're just watching a live, and it was kind of. I think they need more bandwidth or something on there. Yeah, well, Anthony Greeno, I think he needs a few more subscribers, to be honest with you. Because here's what I'll say about Greeno, right? Like sometimes you might think his work is sort of cheesy, the intro stuff. But it's definitely entertaining. Like he literally gets out there, especially in the Delphi case. He'd go to the bridge, he'd walk around, he had people walk through the creek and do experiments. And he, keeps people interested in it. And I think if you just sort of want an entertaining, different angle, you should subscribe to his channel and check it out. I mean, he's at 800 now. Let's see if we can get him over 1,000, right? Because 1,000's when you can monetize your account. Maybe he could do, when he's doing his live stream, people could donate, and then he could have money to buy different equipment and so forth. Yeah. Yeah, it's Anthony Greeno. All right. I've never had a problem with Anthony Greeno. There's a lot of people that have had problems, and I don't know what the problem is, like what they're, and I don't really care, to be honest. Yeah, he does. Well, I wouldn't say great. I'd say he does interesting videos where he gets people out there. It's just sort of the intro part that's. He needs to just make it a little bit more professional instead of the it's a little bit like video gamey. But I would say I don't think he gets anywhere near the amount of credit that he should for what he's contributed to it. Keeping the interest going. He's literally done some reenactments with people out there. They did use some of our location techniques and everything. And they've gone on the bridge. He's walked across that bridge 1,000 times probably. Then they went down the hill where down the hill was. They then walked across the creek and showed how shallow it was, and then decided where they found the girls. And yeah, I think that stuff's valuable. If you want to have a picture how things were and how things happened. All right, so there you go. When you go over there, subscribe and say Gray sent me over, okay? And no, there's no kickbacks on YouTube. All right. Yeah, that's not going to happen. You're not going to catch any person. He admits that. Like the thing is none of us can catch the killer. We might be able to figure out something, like maybe where I think it's sort of delusional when we go, we're gonna catch him. And, you get all these people. They get onto Facebook and they look at every single person that has a goatee and look into them. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, if I got the reward, I'd probably keep a tiny little bit to maybe buy a computer, and then I'd donate the rest. Because I don't know. I mean, it's weird to do stuff like that for the money, I guess he was a bounty hunter or something like that at one time, he claims, but I don't know. I don't know anything about his true history or anything like that. But I've always gotten along with him. So, hope that doesn't offend the people who've always hated Anthony Greeno. I've never hated the guy. Right, there you go. That's a good idea, Phoebe. Maybe distribute that money to some of those cases that never have anything. They get like, $1,000. Help find the killer of 3. Then you got another case like Molly Tibbetts. Oh, the college girl. Oh, and she's cute. So we're going to have $450,000. That was ridiculous. Really. Hopefully after that they divvied that money up to everybody else. Wow, it's Iron Cowgirl. I've seen her all over the place on other channels, just not mine anymore. Thanks a lot, Iron Cowgirl. Whoa. Like I said before, I've cried myself to sleep every night this week. Well, not really. Yeah, now we just need the Iron Cowboy too, right? Or Steel Cowboy? Hell, now I can't remember his name. Jesus. Yeah, that's a reward might help in a town like Lumberton, where people are really poor, and if they outweigh the money with the danger it would be to come forward. Asphalt Cowboy, that's right. It's Asphalt. Remember that? We were trying to hook Asphalt Cowboy up with Iron Cowgirl. It just seemed like a good match at the time. Alright. By the way, for those of you who haven't seen this fish right here is a fish that I filmed using my GoPro camera and a golf ball retriever. I figured out a way to connect it. And it's a little creek right in the middle of Portland. And there's still trout swimming around. When I was a kid, I used to catch them. But there you go. So here's a story that came out earlier today. Money. Armored truck driver missing from Louisville Mall. Louisville Metro Police are searching for info after the driver of an armored truck and an undisclosed amount of cash. What a genius. I mean, if you're an armored truck driver, I mean, how much money can you could steal? You just pull the car over, have somebody waiting, and you get out and drive away. Easy. Wave 3 News has confirmed the Louisville Metro Police Department began investigating Wednesday afternoon after getting a call around 3 p.m. According to LMPD, the armored truck was parked in Jefferson Mall's parking lot. That's when the missing money was discovered. How'd that sound? Does that sound like the news right there? Let me try to get that sentence out better. Let's see. According to LMPD, the armored truck was parked in Jefferson Mall's parking lot. That's when the missing money was discovered. Back to you, Jim. And that's Jim Nething, by the way. How was that? Was that pretty good? Yeah, he's out of town. This guy's out of Dodge at this point. You got to admit. The driver, identified as Mark Espinoza, hasn't been seen since. Espinoza has no criminal background, officials said. But there's a picture of him right there. What they should put there is a big grin and his eyebrows raised. Just absolute jubilant joy as he emptied out the armored truck. Probably had a friend pick him up, and they're now sitting on a beach earning 20%, as they said in the movie Die Hard. All right. What do we got here? What's the next one here? Oh, yeah. You remember the case with the brothers that we talked about a million times? A New Jersey man is accused of killing his brother and his brother's wife and 2 children in their home and then setting the house on fire, right? Well, there was a 911 call that came in. It said, they don't have the 911 call, but I can read it. Oh, my God! There's blood here! The man is heard saying, raising his voice, it's a corpse! It's dead! Somebody's dead here! Well, yes, a corpse is normally dead. Thank you for the clarification there. It's a corpse! It's still alive! No, that doesn't make sense there. But I guess that must have been pretty terrifying for this person. It's a corpse! It's dead! Somebody's dead here! Alright. Authorities last week said Paul Cenero, 51, killed his brother and then murdered Keith's wife, Jennifer Cenero, and their 2 children, Jesse and Sophia. They were all found dead on November 20th. Prosecutors said Keith, 50, had been shot to death. Jennifer Cenero, 45, had been stabbed and shot. The children, Jesse, 11, and Sophia, 8, were stabbed to death. So can you imagine their uncle did that to them? I mean, again, see, Chris Watts looks like a gentle man compared to a barbarian like this. I mean, you got the uncle goes into the house and stabs the kids to death, and then burns the house down with them inside. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. You got that one. And moving on. This might be something new to start looking. Well, amazing. There's already been an arrest in it. It would have been a cool case to look into. But anyways, there was an arrest made in real estate company workers' murder inside model home in Hanover, police say. So let's play this. After the ad plays, of course. We can all sit and enjoy the ad on the screen and chuckle at how people move around without any audio whatsoever. Yeah, they figured out that they block you from watching the page unless you don't have ad blocker.
Jim and Sarah, police say this murder was premeditated.
Wait, what did
Sarah,
you say?
Police.
Hold on. Did she say Jim? I told you. They're all Jim. Come on, say it.
Sarah, police say this murder was premeditated. Was arrested in. Jim and Sarah, police say this murder was premeditated and the motive was robbery. Augustiniak was arrested in Baltimore, but he lives here in this mobile home park, which is walking distance from the crime scene.
Thank you to the community in the Hanover-Jessup area for coming forward and giving us those puzzle pieces. We would not have gotten this done in 31 hours without you.
Anne Arundel County Police, as well as family members of 33-year-old Stephen Wilson, expressing gratitude today after tips led them to arrest 18-year-old Dylan Augustiniak for a brutal murder, who lives with his mother in a mobile home walking distance from the crime scene. Wilson leaves behind a wife and 2 young girls. He was working as a sales representative in this model home, selling houses in the brand new Shipley Homestead neighborhood surrounded by construction and woods. Investigators say Augustiniak shot Wilson in the home and then stole his cell phone and laptop, worth around $2,000.
We have no indication
these people are just idiots.
Model homes, real estate offices, etc., are going to be targeted. I think impulse met opportunity in this instance.
Charging documents revealed just after 5 Wednesday, a 911 call came from the home with only the sound of heavy breathing on the...
Okay, hold on. Let me see this just a second. Let me see if I can... Wednesday, responded to a house on... there it is. I got the address right there. So, 7552 Newmanstown Drive, Hanover. Okay, there we go. Got it. So I think these are new homes, right? Didn't they say that? Yeah. I mean, look at the. You can't see it yet, but see this area here. Looks like this is. It kind of looked like that on the map that they showed earlier. It looks like an area that they're building. But this obvious. Well, let's see if I can get a more recent image here. Okay, there we go. There we go. So this is April 2018. So that house was just finished being built, and it's probably like right there. Let's see if we can identify that. See this driveway right there? Let's see if we can see that real quick.
The other end, as the operator attempted to ask questions. Stephen Wilson expressing gratitude today after tips led them to arrest 18-year-old Dylan Augustiniak for a brutal murder, who lives with his mother in a mobile home walking distance from the...
Okay, so there's that shot right there. So let's see if we can find anything that looked kind of like that. You sort of wonder if that address was sort of like where the Google Earth pin is. Well, let's go this direction like that. I don't think it was on that side though. I wonder if Street View's even here, though. Probably not. Yeah, I'd be shocked. This is like a whole completely new subdivision here, it looks like.
Crime scene. Wilson leaves behind a wife and 2 young girls. He was working as a sales representative in this model home, selling houses in the brand new Shipley Homestead neighborhood surrounded by construction. Selling houses in the brand new Shipley home.
Okay. So I think that should allow us to identify that. I can already kind of see that shot right there looked similar to that. Hold on. Let me turn that around. So you got the main road there, some let's see. Let me find a different year where it's like winter. Yeah, so I think that tree right there, see that tree right there? I think that tree, I know this is kind of crazy, but it's the only tree that looks like that, or this one, but I think it's this one, is that tree right there. That's what I'm going to guess. I'm going to say that tree right there, you can even see it kind of goes like this, and then there's not a lot of foliage there comparatively. And then if we go back to Google Earth, you know, maybe, or you know what, it could be this one, like right there. But this is where the mark was, so I'm thinking it's this one, and they've changed this up a little bit. But anyways, that house isn't there right now on this Google Earth shot here, but this looks like the full facility. This might actually help us right here. Let me go back and look at that. Hold on. Okay, here we go. So you've got this, and it looks like they've got the beginning of that right in here. So I'm pretty sure that this is that area that we're looking at, but the address that we typed in that matched that document put that right there. And I know nobody gives a shit, but I'm showing you that information anyways.
Homestead neighborhood surrounded by construction and woods. Investigators say Augustiniak shot Wilson in the home and then stole his cell phone and laptop, worth around $2,000.
We have no indication that other model homes, real estate offices, etc., are going to be targeted. I think impulse met opportunity in this instance.
Charging documents revealed just after 5 Wednesday.
Yeah, Ada just mentioned the Kendra Hatcher case. That one's interesting. Her and I and a couple other people followed that case from the very beginning, and we followed the trial that they just had with Christopher Love, who was convicted of first-degree murder, and I think he got the death penalty. I believe, he got the death penalty, and the Brenda Delgado, right? She hasn't gone to trial yet. Yeah, and there's also a Crystal Cortez also. So isn't Crystal Cortez next, Ada, or is that going to be Brenda Delgado? That's a wild case. Again, you have another case where there's a jilted sort of Jodi Arias type, but instead of killing the boyfriend that she dated, because she still wanted to have that person, she killed the new girlfriend of her ex-boyfriend. And it was really elaborate planning. It was almost kind of gimmicky, like something out of a cartoon. All kinds of like surveillance and bullshit. And that's how they got caught. They thought they were really cool. Probably had code names. Hey, have you seen him there? Victor 7, Victor 7? Yeah, forget it. Yeah. Nice try, though. Looked really neat, though, the way you guys talked about it. That's right. What did she get for sentencing? Cortez. I was thinking the whole time. You remember early on I said Crystal Cortez is the best person to flip. Oh, that's right. She got like 30 years, right? Yeah. Okay. Hey, I said it right when you typed it in. Yeah, she got 30 years. That's an incredible. It really shows you that she was a lot more involved than she ever would admit, right? she was a hell of a lot more involved than she would ever admit. That's why she got 30 years. Because if she was literally just a driver and knew nothing, she would have got way less than that. Yeah, she'll be out in her 50s, but I don't... Brenda Delgado will never get out of prison. But what Brenda Delgado did was she went to Mexico right after the killings, and I think she knew that Mexico had a no extradition treaty if death penalty is still on the table. So the FBI eventually cut a deal and said that they couldn't have the death penalty for the mastermind in a case that ended up killing a completely innocent person in cold blood. Kendra Hatcher had no clue about any of this shit because her boyfriend was a weak-ass person, okay? And that's the honest-to-God truth. He was a lame, just weasel. I don't like the guy, okay? I wish I liked him a little bit, but I don't like him at all. I think he was like a loser, you know, wimp. Yeah, just like Ada just said. All right, anyways.
A 911 call came from the home with only the sound of heavy breathing on the other end. As the operator attempted to ask questions, they could hear someone in the background saying, "Where is the money? And who are you talking to?" Court records also say video surveillance from the model home show the suspect carrying a long gun. A gun police believe Augustiniak tried to sell after committing the murder.
Jesus Christ, can you believe that shit? So you heard him breathing hard, and he's like, "Where's the money?" What a freaky 911 call that must have been.
Meanwhile, one of his neighbors says the 18-year-old has struggled with mental health issues.
Of course.
All I know is that he had been missing for a week, and with him being off his medications, something must have happened.
Yeah. It's always something about medication. Right. No, he's just a barbarian. Okay, let's not kid around here. So walking distance, he probably lived in this area or this area, and I think it's more like this one because this looks like a trailer. I bet you we can find that one. Hold on, I'm gonna go back to that article. Hold on. And I'm only doing it because it's fun
those puzzle pieces
for me.
Expressing gratitude today after tips led them to arrest 18-year-old Dylan Augustiniak for a brutal murder, who lives with his mother in a mobile home.
That's what it looks like.
Who lives with his mother in a mobile home, walking distance from the crime scene. For a brutal murder, who lives with his mother in a mobile home, walking distance from the crime scene. Wilson leaves behind a wife and 2 young girls. He was working as a sales representative in this model home, selling houses in the brand new Shipley Homestead neighborhood surrounded by construction and woods. Investigators say Augustiniak shot Wilson in the home and then stole
And I can't
his
see you
cell phone
guys
and
anymore
laptop
again.
worth
Got some more
around
memory
$2,000.
issues.
We have no indication that other models.
Okay. So there you go. I'm going to get rid of this. Shut that down and try to get back onto YouTube so I can see you guys. I can't believe it's happening again.
Oh my God.
Ew, Ada. That's Ada, everybody. Oh my God. Like, totally. Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm fired out of it, 10 down, 15 on the mind.
Get those likes up, 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 get those likes up.
30 and 30 and 30, 25,
Get those likes up, get those likes up, get the. All right. Come on, Street View. Have a Street View here. Have a Street View. Ah. Doesn't go into there. Could it possibly be, miraculously, one of the ones on the side? Doubt it. Not a chance. So no street view, probably where that house was located. Unfortunate. Well, we could get lucky, and they're saying he lived here. What are these? That's a parking lot, but this one's got street view in it. So if we get lucky, well, let me look at that one video again. Oh crap, they're gonna make me do another I'm gonna see that document again because it might actually say where he lived. And then I don't have to look for it. Hey, is Anthony Greeno here? What's going on? Yeah, we're just looking at this case. We went over the April Tinsley case again, and now I'm just doing the daily crime watch shit. I told people to go subscribe to your channel, Anthony Greeno. I've never had a beef with you. I think you could probably change up your intro, make it a little bit more professional or whatever. But I think you've done some cool shit. All right, I'm not like the other people. I don't mind. Your videos have been pretty informative, like you're showing going across the creek and different things like that. The bridge, you literally see the bridge. You're on it. My animations are cool, but I mean you were actually there, so let me all right there. So if I pause it, okay, let me play that again. Oh, maybe that had some. God dang it. Upon arrival, officers located a male victim, later identified as Stephen Wilson, suffering from an apparent gunshot wound to his person. Stephen Wilson was unresponsive and was subsequently pronounced deceased at the scene by emergency medical personnel. During the investigation, investigators learned that the unknown suspect had stolen Stephen Wilson's cellular telephone and his laptop computer. The total value of both items are approximately $2,000 in United States currency. Like we needed to have you put in United States currency. Why did we need to have that? Investigation also revealed video surveillance, which shows the suspect armed with a long gun. So that's usually, when they say long gun, is usually either one of those AR-15s, or it could even be that's usually what they're talking about when they say that. Could be a shotgun or a rifle. But on Thursday, December 6, 2018, a post-mortem examination was later conducted. Yeah, it's obviously a homicide. Let's see. Yeah, so we do have a picture of that. So that's where he lived there, the guy. Yep, cool. Yeah, we need to get you over 1,000 subscribers, Anthony Greeno, and then you can apply for your monetization. But the thing is when you have an account, you got to make sure you don't do anything that's, really offensive or completely inaccurate just for views or anything like that. You got to be, because you can get your account shut down. They do that, and that's the facts. A lot of people don't know that. They think it's just some weird, oh hey, you can do whatever you want on YouTube as long as you don't. It's not really true. If you're starting a bunch of beefing and arguing with people, your accounts just get shut down. And now, if you're doing something that's absolutely factually correct and people don't like you for it, like my Kanika Jenkins debunking videos or my Delphi debunking videos that were all 100% accurate, who cares? They might not like me, but at the same time, it doesn't matter because it's true. So it just means your delusional self is angry. Yeah, I didn't really become a YouTuber until about a year ago, though. So I mean, I could have had this built up a lot more because I've been doing videos for 4 years, and really just to, you know, basically, somebody would say something, and I'd make a video to show them. I mean, I was a little bit overboard when I did the Jodi Arias ones by doing that because I spent literally hundreds of hours making that crime scene look the way it does. But I did it so that when anybody would ask a question, I could just open up my program, get an angle in there and explain it to them, and could do it easily instead of just talking about it. So what are you doing, Greeno? You want to call in? Get on my show? Talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about? We were just talking about... right now, there was a guy a realtor that was in a house that was just built, and then he got murdered inside the house by a young barbarian who killed him for his laptop and cell phone. I mean, really no reason at all, to be honest with you. And they arrested the guy quickly. So the story's kind of over, but I mean, we're just talking about whatever. But you can just call in and hang out. We can go over a case, and you can jump in. You can see it. What you'll have to do is, I don't know if you have a computer, but watch YouTube on a computer, and then talk to me on your phone, because it's actually a dial-in number. And then by doing that, you can watch it. It's only about a second behind, or maybe 2 seconds maximum. So that's what you could do, is you could call in, but watch it on YouTube and have the volume off. The only problem is you can't hear any, if there's music playing or anything like that. I'm not sure why that is, but that's just how it is. I'm thinking of getting Zoom. I was using that on Justice, or J for Justice, and it works pretty good. I like it. So hold on a second. I'm going to put the get Skype on here. I got to turn some of this crap down though. And there you go. There's the number to call in. Proof was the only way done. Yeah. Look at that. Jesus. Even my YouTube's got that weird... Man, I must have a lot of stuff open with using up memory. Not sure what it is, but maybe it's all these. I have some WAV files open now. Premiere's open. Yeah, let me close that. Man, I didn't realize it, but I had like 1,000 programs open. Down below here. So there you go, Greeno. The number's on the screen. 503-446-5146. That's 503-446-5146. For wasn't Gray FBI Rosemont Police retired? Hello, this is Gray. You're on the air.
Hey, it's Anthony Greeno. Gray, what's up?
It's Anthony Greeno, everybody. So how do you...
What's up, everybody?
How far do you live from Delphi, anyways?
Like about 5-10 minutes.
Oh, really? I mean, I thought you lived...
Yeah, I live in Flora, right next to the Flora firehouse.
Well, you probably the way you said that, it sounded like you know, like you're too close to it. Like, hey, I live right next to the Flora firehouse, everybody, and everyone's like, wait, whoa, you know how the conspiracy theories go.
Yeah, I'm responsible for all of it.
Yeah, I remember early on. I don't know if you remember, but they actually, in the Delphi case, they thought I was the killer, because I knew too much. I figured all the stuff out on the flow of the crime, just watching, basically the helicopter footage and a whole bunch of other stuff I put together. And what happened was they said, oh my God, Grace did it. So they reported me onto the Facebook police page for Delphi, right? And then so what happened was I heard about it, so I went there and I posted my video, the one with the flow, the first one I did, and that actually is why Ives, he called me up because one of the officers said, God, have you seen this? It's pretty good. And then Ives called me up and said, hey, wow, that's pretty sweet, man. Hey, if we ever have a trial, maybe we can do something like that, and he offered that he might be able to give me better photographical information to be more exact, but then they really tightened everything up and that never happened. And then he left the office, but we had people go out to the bridge. Beth, you've seen her. Yeah. She went out to the bridge and, found the exact spots, like the little vine on the ground and, all the stuff. What's that? Yeah, Bonnie Rame went there too with Beth. Rame. Yeah, they both. Well, there's a Beth and a Bonnie. Beth is the one that took the photos that I used. That we found out that that Libby was actually off the end of the bridge. It was her photographs that literally proved it. And then I sent Ives. I go, hey, so we figured out that Libby was looks like 2 or 3 feet off the end of the bridge, and he wrote me back and said, it was cool. He didn't, without saying, you're right, he said, assume that Libby was off the bridge. And I was like, thank you.
Right.
Yeah, it was cool to figure that out, because I remember before I had them standing on that last platform. Right, yeah.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too. Until we started talking about it a little bit more, and I went out there a couple more times. I started, playing around with the camera, looking around. I thought, well, you know what? This is really the only angle that you can actually get that.
Yeah, it's the only angle you can see that little white nodule that's actually just destroyed railroad ties on the side. That's just a little past. And what's amazing is even the suspect is past the 6th platform. That's what's weird about it. Like when you do the analysis, he's about 5 feet past the 6th platform. Like if you were the suspect and you look to your left and about 4 feet, 5 feet behind you, 6 feet. That's the platform right there. Yeah, it's weird because I actually compared it to all the little railroad ties, and it's wild. It's amazing. I love that kind of stuff, though,
It is, and when you go out there and you start walking it, it's only just I've walked it a few times as fast as I possibly could, and I thought, okay, it only took me anywhere from 9 to 15 seconds to get to them.
From
if they
the
were
sixth
standing at the end of the
platform?
bridge.
Yeah, right, from the sixth.
From where he was.
Right.
It's real fast.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
So it just kind of gives you perspective on how quick it all went down and how long the phone was on recording before you actually heard him tell them to go down that hill,
Yeah, and then you went down the hill. See, I think it's not that hard to go down the hill, just like right as you cross over the bridge and take a hard left. It's like that's pretty easy there. There's a little trail, and your videos show that pretty good. It's just you might have to hold on to a branch here and there, but you go you go down, and during that time of year there isn't as much foliage and sort of what I mean. It's not as dense.
Yeah, it's pretty much everything's bare. You can see pretty far. There's not as many leaves and vines growing up.
Yeah, so
in the summer.
Yeah,
it's real bad. It's real nasty. It's real thick in the summer.
Yeah, you guys were getting scared of spiders and shit. I remember that. That was.
Yeah, there were spiders everywhere out there in the summer and fall. It's like, wow.
Yeah, you guys were like, wow, look at these spiders too, man. You were trying to add to the scariness of it. It wasn't working though. That part was like, yeah, okay. There's a couple spiders. All right, great. That's awesome. Well, I'm sure there was more than a couple, but. So you go down there, and then when you're down on that flat spot and you start heading towards Julie Melvin's video location, that's an easy walk, isn't it? It's just sort of it's not far either.
It's not far either at all. It's just, pretty much from the down the hill area, if you're in a hurry and you're trying to move quickly, which I think the suspect probably was, it's only about a 3-minute walk to the creek, if that.
Yeah, let me. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into. I'll just do like Google Earth flyby shit right now, and I'll just show where you're talking about. All right. So, all right. Can you see YouTube at all on the side?
Yeah, I'm looking at YouTube.
Right. So this is where the suspect was. It might even just slightly be about right there. And he's saying it took maybe 15 seconds to walk from here, 9 to 15 seconds from here to the end of the bridge. And that makes sense because it's really only about 60 feet. It's not far at all. And so Libby this isn't accurate right here because this is a different time of year. So if I go to the newer, let's see. This one's interesting because this Google Earth image right here is only 2 months after that. April 2017. It's right there. So Libby was just off the end of the bridge right there, and then Abby was probably, I'd have to move her about right there during the shot, and then he's coming in, and there's just a little tiny part of Abby in the shot. That was actually confirmed. There's a little, that we see in that one image. There's a lot more of her in the full shot of the suspect, because he's just a little tiny. If you look at some of the Beth videos that I have where Bonnie's walking in it, she actually walks.
You're farther away than what it looks.
Yeah, and it's really small. So and Beth actually had the exact camera, I believe, that Libby had. So she was filming it, and when you zoom in, you just start losing all kinds of clarity. A lot of people think when you zoom in, it gets more clear, but that's not true unless you have really high definition. Like 4K, you could zoom in a lot and it still maintain its clarity, but when you're using like 720 and you're cropping out a little tiny corner of it and then you zoom in on that, everything gets pixelated. So with these people that say, oh, you can see a mole on his face, oh, you can see a mole on his, that's bullshit, because a mole would be the size of a pixel. It's like, how do you know what you're looking at? It just, anyway, that stuff isn't true. So what you were saying right here is you came across, and then if you go down the hill, it's right here, right? You just go down, right? And then you go right to the there's this road here, the private drive.
Yep, and just go down to right about there.
Yeah.
Just past where you have that purple mark. Well,
yeah. Yeah, it's like right here, right? You come down, just basically right there, right? Like you just
down just a little bit further, where that little green patch of grass is.
Like right here?
You see it right there next to the bridge?
Right
like
there?
Come down and
right
then
there?
go over there where you have the the last platform, it's like right there at that platform area.
Oh yeah, that's after you go down to the private drive, right? And then you go down here, right, to the flat area.
Yeah. Yep, right there.
Yeah.
And then that's where it kind of gets flatter. But yeah, right there is, I think, where he probably would have took him down and then got onto that flat area.
Yeah, and then he walked him down like this. Now, here's something I have thought a lot, like from early on, actually, in this case, was that. Wait, let me get rid of the number off the screen here for a second.
Okay.
Because it looks better like this, full screen. All right, so you were walking this way, but I've actually thought a lot. There's this little area back in here that's, if you got back in there, you're pretty isolated. And I was wondering if he did something there first, and then somehow, I know that they ended up right here. I've got it marked almost exactly where it was. And they ran across, and he caught him here, or he could have even, based on how shallow it is, everyone thought it was funny when I said he could have killed him on this side and then brought him over here. They thought, oh, that's funny, and there's no way. But in reality, that water's so short. Libby is, she wasn't small, right? But you could easily drag her through the water, and then it'd be pretty hard to pull her up onto this. Up here, though, wouldn't it? Like if she wasn't
on the bank on the other side, it would be difficult to get up the bank on the other side if you're dragging someone's dead weight.
It's really steep too, over there.
Yeah, but it's really not that difficult to tread through the water, and carrying someone wouldn't be that hard.
Right.
But
Libby weighed, I think they said, like 200 pounds, so it might be hard to put her over your shoulder or anything, I don't know.
Yeah.
That might be tough. So
it may.
So if they were over here, though, I don't know. I always thought that he brought him over here, and then maybe they ran.
That's where he committed the
Because it's weird over here. It really, you're kind of, it's kind of dense, but it also, I don't know if this is how accurate this is. It seems like it kind of curves around a little bit more, and there's a space there. Is that right, or is this about what it is? It just kind of.
That's real steep right there. Right there next to the creek alongside the private drive. It's really steep in that general area. Now, the closer you get to the bridge, it kind of gets, it's not as steep. You know what I mean? It's a little bit easier to walk. I've done it in some of my latest videos, tried to walk down that area. And you do slip and slide a lot. But the closer you get to the water, the steeper it gets. It's real dense right there too.
Yeah, and it was interesting, early on, just looking at Google Earth and the layout, you could just see how shallow it is right there. And then you went out and showed it. It's really kind of below your knees a lot of the time, and you just go across.
Yeah. The highest I've had it was, I think, in April. Right after all the rain happened, and it didn't even get up to my waist, not even close,
Mm-hmm.
So that was the deepest I've ever seen the water. And I've been out there all times during the year checking it out and seeing what the difference is. But yeah, it was kind of really only up to the knees, if that.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that say, well, how come the witnesses didn't see that he had wet legs or something? But are people always looking at things like that too?
Well, I've tested that twice. I went out there and had that guy dressed like the bridge guy, and then had him get in the water, and then took a video of his legs. It just looked like dark jeans. And then I did it here just a few weeks ago, and I walked out, and passed someone on the trail, and didn't tell him what I was doing, and then after I passed him, I said, okay, now, could you tell if my pants were wet or not? He said, I wasn't even looking at your pants. I was looking at your face.
Yeah.
So
if you had
I don't think anybody would think to look.
Was there any there's no, like your friend though, did he have dark jeans on to start with, or were they lighter jeans?
He had on the lighter jeans. And the guy that's playing in my reenactment video, he had on the lighter jeans.
So was there much of a difference in coloring from the wet portion to the light portion?
Not really. I mean, kinda, but you wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah.
Based on, it depends how deep the water was on the guy, but you really couldn't tell. You couldn't tell at all. you know, because you really wouldn't be paying attention with the shadows from the trees and stuff like that. If you were to pass someone out there, you wouldn't notice it.
Right. Now, one of the things we were thinking about early on, too, a while back, was we kind of followed the railroad tracks, the old ones that go all the way over here. But, I mean, this turns out to be not accurate at all. But, like, he could have...
Oh, yeah.
We thought
over
maybe
County
he
Road
parked...
200.
Got maybe parked over here and then just sort of walked through here. And he's kind of hidden the whole time. If you look at the helicopter footage, these are all kind of tall trees, and he could have walked all the way down this old railroad track, all the way over to here, or left that way, but it turns out that's not what he did. But
right.
That was a theory.
Right.
Yeah,
yeah, and there was a lot of theories, you know, at the time, like, because no one knew anything. It's just like, well, where did he go? Where did he come from? You know?
Yeah.
And it just takes time, I guess, to figure out all the what's real and what's not real with what's being said, you know?
Yeah. So if you look at this, I mean, I think we both kind of agree on this part, that maybe he was around in this area to begin with, and then he would just sit here, and if you know, and he knew that nobody had walked this direction. You know, now, like, so when the girls showed up, he knew nobody was in front of him down here, right? So when the girls walked by, he may have even said something to them. And then he walked, this is what my opinion is that he walked, followed from behind, so the girls maybe were up here and he was back here, and he kept watching, and then right in this area, he stops, because you can see from this area, you can actually see back where the bench is from this area, and you can see the front of the bridge from this, looking that
right
way.
There.
And so he could sit there and he could wait, and if anybody came in from behind, he calls it off. If anybody starts walking, he calls it off. But he knew nobody was coming, so he kept falling, and he saw them go on the bridge, and then I actually think that when the girls were about halfway across, they saw him already. And then they went across because they were too scared to cross back where he was. And so they went all the way across, and Abby was a little bit slower. I don't think he just sort of snuck up on him when they got to the other side. I think they saw him, and he was coming, and they were already halfway across, so Libby, being comfortable, she got off quicker, and then she turned on her camera, and Abby was still a little bit behind, and eventually caught up. And that's why I think, I don't know if this is fact, but I've heard from pretty reliable sources that, you know, said something like, he's right behind us, isn't he? You know, something like that.
Yeah.
So they might have seen him coming right when, you know,
yeah,
when they're halfway across, something like that. I don't know. That's just
yeah. I mean, that kind of that fits exactly what I was trying to portray in that first reenactment theory. You know, that he was standing there at that bend in the trail, waiting for them to get all the way to the other side, because he's not seen in the picture of Abby. You know, in the Snapchat photograph, he's not in that picture, no matter what Inside Edition said.
Oh yeah,
he's not there.
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
well they were wrong.
Those
are those little pipes. Those are those. That was like the the barrier that's right there. The barrier, yeah, right there.
Yep. Yeah, and that's no longer there anymore. Did you know that?
Oh, I haven't seen anything recently with that. I know they put that fence down the trail, but
they're actually out there fixing the high bridge. They're fixing that concrete pier under the north side of the bridge there, and they ripped out that orange barricade, removed all the trees around the bridge, and they're fixing it and actually making it a walkway.
You're kidding. So, but are they going to put like side rails on it then, or what?
They're going to. Yeah, eventually they're going to get to the side rails and actually fix some of the, you know, the wood on the bridge. That way you can actually just walk across it. And they're making that part of the Delphi Trail system now.
Well, I would think that they would do almost first would be fixing the railroad ties. I mean, hell, I've seen where you can almost fall all the way through, you know. I mean, I like that you would do that first and then start doing, I mean, maybe, you know, build the pillar, then the rails. Or I don't know.
I think that's what they're doing. I think they're doing the pillar now. And he said it'd take him about a month. I interviewed a guy out there working on it. He said it'd take about a month, and then they're going to fix, you know, the wood, and then they're going to put the rails up last. You know, try to make it cool, which is kind of a good thing. But you know, it just sucks that it took that to happen for all that to start taking place.
Yeah, and what's weird is that there doesn't fix anything. Like what happened. Like that has nothing to do with what happened. Now, if they put cameras up there, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, fixing the trail wouldn't have fixed what happened to them, I guess is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, they did put some cameras out there. They got some new markers. They got some maps, entry and exit points. They're wanting to put some basically markers every 1/10 of a mile. That way, if you do dial 911 from that location, it'll pinpoint your location exactly, and they'll know exactly where you're calling from. You know, so they're actually starting to do some cool things. They've raised $176,000+ to do that with, and they're still trying to raise some more funding to fix the rest of it. But they do have some cameras and stuff up there now. I'm actually surprised, but they're actually doing it.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least a lot of people are like, oh, the conspiracy with the fundraising money. That's what it was all about. I mean, it's just ludicrous. Look at sometimes there's just really shitty people that kill people, and there's no other motives going on. It's just, like the April Tinsley case that I was covering just before you came on. You know, this guy kidnapped an 8-year-old girl in 1988, just playing in a town, kidnapped her, raped her, and then strangled her to death, dumped her body on the side of the road. Then 2 years later, he wrote a message on a bar. I'm just giving you the quick update. It's a quick recap.
Right.
2 years later, he wrote messages on a barn. We went over all those. You can watch them later. Again, I've covered this a whole bunch of times, but wrote messages on a barn in 1990.
Yeah, dude, I know that case well. Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah, like in 2004, he put notes on bicycles with condoms with semen in it. And then he just sort of disappeared, and then Paragon Nanolabs eventually ended up coming up with a profile of him in 2016, and then they used the C.C. Moore that did the East Area Rapist, and then they identified his DNA and located him, arrested him, John D. Miller, the Barbarian, right? But see, that's what we got here. That's what this guy is. So the guy that they just arrested, the Thomas Bruce, he's sort of a guy like that, right? I mean, just a roaming barbarian. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and someone who's never been caught for that, So a lot of people are looking for, like a convicted sex offender or a known criminal, someone that they would expect to do that, when really people are usually looking in the wrong area when it comes to somebody like that, because you need to start looking at someone who's never been caught yet, Right. And but that Thomas Bruce guy, if he is the Delphi suspect, I've been telling people for some time, when you start looking at someone that, that it's that nice guy that you see every day at the store or at church or somewhere, it's the guy you don't expect. It's probably the guy that's going to be. And Thomas Bruce is he's a pastor. He's never been caught doing this before. Granted, I think he's done it before. But those are the type of people that you kind of need to look at sometimes. It's not always that person that you expect. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. Yeah. This guy just looks like Thomas Bruce. To be honest, he kind of looks like the John Miller guy, just not quite as maniac looking. But he also lived in. The John D. Miller guy looks like an absolute barbarian. Have you seen any pictures of that guy recently? Like, we just put one up. He just looks like a. Let me show. He's got like 2 teeth left in his face. He's like a. Where is this one? Now look at this guy. Oh man, he just. Let me play this.
Okay.
Hell, I don't want to play an ad. Forget it. Let me put these.
Are you talking about where he's walking?
Yeah, look at that. I'm gonna try to load this up, but he just looks like when he's walking around and stuff. I don't.
Yeah, he's all creepy.
Yeah, I don't know how he got away with it. He looks like. Look at that. It's almost like the sound that Jerry Lewis used to make when he just was being crazy. Is what you see in this guy. Look at that. Look at that guy. right? But somehow he got away with it for 30 years, and he's dumb as a box of rocks. Okay,
he is dumb.
Yeah.
He is an idiot.
So it just proves that you don't have to be smart to get away with something.
Exactly. And you know what? You know something that I was kind of hoping that you'd do, and I don't know if you've done it yet, but like, if we could find out like where he was leaving these notes. Do you know where he was leaving the notes on the bicycles?
Yeah, like just on the. I mean, like, what do you mean by where? What do you mean?
Like the locations of these places.
Yeah, I've got them all.
How far was it from his house?
Yeah, that's what's great. Before you came on, I read the profile by the FBI, and it was like they were so accurate, it was crazy. I mean, let me find this. Yeah, April Tinsley, and then bicycle notes. I have them all mapped out. Yeah, so in this area here, let's see. So she was abducted around in this area. Her body was found way over here, right? And the barn note was here. Then the notes on the bicycle were here, and then a couple up here. And here's what's awesome is, see, this is Fort Wayne, Indiana, right? And the police said it's northeast of Fort Wayne, Indiana, in this county. And look at this. North, east, and that's where he was found, right there. I mean, the FBI was saying that from, like, since 2004. And like I was saying on the show before he came, see these notes here? Look at this. So there was these notes on these here, and when me and Ada were doing a live, we literally had Google Earth up and we're like this, right? And I thought maybe the guy was a mailman. And as I was explaining to him, it was pretty weird because as I was going down the road here, it actually comes by a mailman, mail truck is on the road at some point. It was really weird. So I was on Street View just driving around, and there it was. Let me think. I think it was around in this spot here. Let's see. So I was just doing Street View, heading down this direction. Let me make sure I didn't pass them already. Yeah. And I think I can kind of see. Yeah, there you see him up there already. Up on the left there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, it's a mailman. But he didn't end up being a mailman, but it was just funny that we're going down Street View, looking at this guy, and I was like, God, can you believe that? Look at that, there's a mailman. And then we just kept going, and then we went down on Street View and then looked on these different streets here, because the other note was right there. And look at that. While we were right here looking, months later they find him, he's living right there. I mean, literally 0.3 miles from where we were just kind of looking around. Stuff like that's weird. Stuff like that's weird to me, you know. It's like you're looking in Street View and you were so close. Like if I had just went here, taken a left, and then his house is right here. It's literally, I think you can see Street View here. I don't know. No, you can't. But we were able to determine that was his house based on photographs of the scene and comparing it with the other stuff that's here. But that's where he lived, and he lived right next. And you know what it said in the profile? He's going to live next to a school or some place where there's kids. And look at that. Look at this. That's what this is right here. I mean, crazy. How close could he live? I mean, I don't think you could live closer to a school. Like it's like there's the parking lot, and he's literally. I mean, I bet he's not even 100 feet. If you took the front of his house and measure this, let's just go over to like that. Do feet. Well, 136 feet to the front of that building right there.
Wow. Yeah, that's close, man, and that just that just proves like what he said in those notes. You know, like, hey, I've been watching you. He was following them from school, most likely. You know.
Yeah, no, he probably. They said he would live there to sort of live out his fantasies. He doesn't always act out on it, but things can substitute his desire by just being near them, and that he would maybe even date somebody that has a small child, make inappropriate comments to friends, that kind of thing. But this guy just seems so dumb that no matter what he said, you'd go, oh yeah, that's just John there. what a goofy, Yeah, so he probably got away with saying a lot of garbage over the years.
Yep. Yeah, definitely a weird guy, man. I'm glad he pled guilty, because when I saw that he was going up for a change of venue, I was like completely just upset about that. I'm like, yeah, you know what? This guy taunted the community and the police for this long, and he now wants a change of venue, you know, and I'm just like, yeah, no, you don't deserve a change of venue, dude. You need to face the music, because you did all this stuff and you taunted all these people and terrorized that whole community and the whole state and everything for so long that you need to sit there and face the music. And I'm glad he pled guilty.
Yeah, me too, because like the reporter said, was that a lot of times when it goes to trial, the person doesn't say any. I mean, they never has to say anything. They're just found guilty or not guilty, but they don't say anything, so nobody ever knows anything about what really happened. Where he came forward today and said that he strangled her with his bare hands, had sex with her prior to that. And I don't know if you knew this, but on the barn, what we found out later was that on the barn, you know, the note that was on the barn, there was people that were on like Reddit, even years ago, that said, they actually said on Reddit that you can see an H and an A, and they speculated that he said, "Have you found the other shoe yet?" Because when he dumped April out,
he tossed the shoe out.
Well, he threw her. No, but he threw her out, and then they found only one shoe, but then found the other shoe somewhere else, and they speculate that he drove back out, or he right after he dumped her body, he looked in his car and went, "Oh crap, another shoe," and then he just tossed it out the window. Right. Yep. So he wrote on the barn, "Have you found the other shoe yet?" And that turned out to be true. That's how they were able to link the note on the barn to him, right? Because they didn't have a note from him yet. He only wrote the notes later. I speculated maybe he did write a note earlier, and that's how they knew that the barn writing was his. Because I mean, it's so weird to think. I mean, how could you predict that he wrote something else on the barn that you can barely just see a couple letters? But it turns out that him knowing that they didn't have the shoe originally, they knew it was him. And that's why law enforcement doesn't tell things to people a lot. Like, oh, well, we found one shoe and, we didn't find another one or something. Or maybe they say, I think they did say she was found with one shoe, but they never mentioned that they found the other one. Something like that. But
right.
At least they knew that it was him. And I think that information came out after the barn note. So the only person would be him and law enforcement that knew that one of the shoes was missing. So.
Right. Which, I mean, as dumb as he may look and act, he's not as dumb as, what we all may think. He is somewhat there.
Well, it's weird that he taunted, but he's literally, like, he can't write or anything. Here's the barn, by the way. See this right here? It's weird. It's still there. It looks exactly the same. Look at I don't know if you can see that, but it looks exactly. Look at here's a note, for example, on the barn. See the wood on the barn and the door right there. Can you see that?
Yeah, I see the door.
Let me like that. I'll make it bigger so you can see the handles and everything. Well,
I can see the handles there.
Yeah, that's
there
right,
we go.
Right there. Isn't that wild? Same shit. I mean, it's still there. Then that note was right on the barn right there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's why I love Google Earth and things, because you can go around and put things together for people, and then it really adds like a whole nother layer to telling a story. I mean, going there is good too. Like you can see it, but like even in your videos, if you had like let's say when you're walking around. And then you did an overlay of Google Earth off to the side and then have a dot moving around on it to show that where you're walking. I mean, that would make people, that'd be really interesting for people. Like, oh, here's where I am right now, and have it mimic everything that you're doing. And then they can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like how you did that with the crime scene flows, of the Abby and Libby thing when you first did that, 'cause that was the first videos that I had seen that you had done with the flows. And I was watching it, like how you had the person walking the trail and the the Google Earth on the side,
Oh,
so
that's
you could
right,
actually
yeah.
see exactly where you were, you know.
Yeah.
And then I'd actually tried to mimic that in a couple videos. You know, I didn't know a lot about it at the time, but I definitely understand it now after looking at it and figuring it out a little bit more and testing that things out and stuff. So I've almost got the OBS set up completely, you know, with the layout and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's just some more questions and stuff I have to figure out, and we'll go over some of that stuff sometime.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And what's that you're looking at?
Well, the thing I was looking at a second ago, this image was this is the photograph that John Miller put with I think they edited it out his body here, because he was naked on a bed from the waist down. Supposedly he had hairy legs, and he put that on one of the bicycles. And they said he was on this Paisley, sort of, I guess, I don't know what you call it, comforter here. But it kind of looks odd the way it looks like something, maybe they edited something out. Maybe like right over here or something.
Right.
This is it. I can't really make it out, but that was one of the crime scene photos that they released.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, wait, and here's something that I wanted to show you guys. This is one of the things I found really interesting. So I actually knew generally where she was found. She was found like right in here, but at the time I didn't even know where this was. This is from a Crime Watch Daily, but they got old helicopter footage. And I was looking here, and you see this driveway here, right? See that? How there's a driveway on both sides. And I couldn't find that for the life of me. I could not find that while I was looking from the sky on Google Earth. So I want to show people this. Stuff like that's interesting to me. Maybe it's boring as shit to everybody else, but when you look at it like this, I was looking around and I couldn't find it, because you look at that and you see, well, there's no driveway like that, but watch this. So I went down to Street View here, and then look at this, watch. Oh, they filled it in with cement later. You see that?
Yep.
Yeah, you see that? Isn't that crazy? So you go back to that image, and that's why right there it's got grass. That's a double driveway back then. But then on Google Earth, they filled that in later and made it just one solid driveway. So then I knew absolutely for sure I was in the right space, and then found the shot. There's a creek that one of the people was jumping around in, and that was right here. One of the people searching. Let's see, right there. Like he's leaping over right there, and I think she was found right down here by a jogger. So,
wow.
Yeah. But yeah, it threw me off for a long time, that driveway, because I kept thinking, the buildings matched up and things, but it was just kind of like, boom, there it is. They filled it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cool. It just takes some time, to figure it out. And once you figure it out, it's just like, those puzzle pieces just come right together.
Yep. Yeah. It's always the eureka moment.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I know it's what people don't like. Sometimes, for me, doing this stuff is interesting. And, I guess you could say, when you use the word fun, people go, oh my God, you're having fun. Well, when you put together a puzzle, right? Is it really fun? You might say, oh, I have fun putting together puzzles. But, technically, are you like really woo when you're putting a puzzle together? I doubt it, right? It is fun, because it's fun to figure things out. But it's not like the happy fun that everybody tries to assign to you if you say that, so they can try to, slam you. That's what they do a lot on social media.
Yep.
Did you hear what Greeno said? He said he had fun looking into crimes. How dare he? Wait, come on. Yeah, or I don't know. It just drives me nuts.
Yeah,
social media is while it's good, it's also ridiculous at some points.
Yep. Yeah. It can get crazy sometimes, but it's all about ignoring them and just doing what you're doing, and eventually, you have more people that like it than don't like it,
Right.
So just overlook the fact.
So what time do you got over there? It's probably getting kind of late.
Yeah, it's about 1:45 in the morning here.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's right. Indiana's 3 time zones away.
Yep. So yeah, I'll probably get off here, man. Let you get back to doing what you're doing. I'm still watching now.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you calling in. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thanks for calling into my show.
Yeah, and people get over there, subscribe to Anthony Greeno, get him over 1,000 so he can get more support for his channel. Although it takes him a long time to, for some reason, to get your channel where they activate it. It's stupid. So you gotta send it in. Like second you get 1,000, apply to get the super chat stuff going. All right.
Yep, definitely will, man.
All right, cool. I like your studio and stuff. It's pretty sweet.
Thanks, man. You know, one day we'll meet up one day.
One of these days. Hopefully, you know what'd be great is if they make an arrest, I might even have to go over there and see everybody.
Definitely.
You know, I think it'd be awesome. Maybe even at a crime con or something at some point.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Who knows? All right, man. Well, I appreciate you calling in. Thanks.
All right, great. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, see you. Bye.
All right, bye.
Anthony Greeno. There you go. It's good having him on. Yeah, he's like me. His channel name has his name in it. He didn't hide his name. Right? He didn't call it something other than his name. I'm not saying that's smart, right? I mean, because when you have your real name, everybody starts slamming you out there. But at least we did put our real names because there's nothing to hide. You know what I'm talking about? Got to give him credit for that. You know what I've noticed? If I don't go live, my subscriber count goes up quickly. And then some nights when I go live, it just stays the same or gets smaller. I don't know if there's some kind of algorithm, or was my show so shitty that people unsubscribed during it. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one. I'll assume it was the first one. Sweet, Lanky Tor. What does Lanky Tor actually mean, by the way? Jim Nothing. Hey, I said it right that time. Which Watts debunk video? That one? What's it at now? Let's see. Yeah, that video I made yesterday on the Watts debunk. Let's see where we're at here on it. We are at 23,000 views, if you can believe that. 23,000 views in one day on... And here it is. Let's watch it. Why not, huh? The old school music coming in. Here we go! Hello, this is Gray Hughes. I'm doing my first debunking video on the Chris Watts case. There's a YouTuber out there named K Smalls who's tricking people into believing some absolutely nonsensical observations that she claims to be seeing on the Chris Watts surveillance video. So let's get started on this video right now. I agree, Phoebe. I agree. Okay, first of all, this K Smalls individual is tricking people, and she's claiming to be some video expert, but a video expert would realize that when you record video, there are anomalies sometime in the compression of the video, and when you download a video and you upload a video, then you download it again and you upload it again and so forth, it degrades over time. So here is a video this guy did on YouTube where it starts off at poor quality, and then he uploads it and downloads it 1,000 times, and then look what starts happening. This is 50. This is 500. You can barely make this out as even a human being at this point. Maybe some eye sockets there. Looks a little bit like Bart Simpson at that point. And then at 1,000, it's unrecognizable. You have the same problem with the audio because it compresses over and over again, and the audio degrades as well, okay? But just even in general footage that you record, if you go through it frame by frame, even if you have the raw footage, you'll see artifacts in each frame. And then when you zoom in on a small portion of the video, your eye actually starts seeing a bunch of different anomalies because you're now looking at pixel level information, especially when you're using maybe 1080p as opposed to 4K. On 4K, you could zoom in on a small portion and it would still look relatively clear, but again, you still get the anomalies during compression. All right, so let's take a look at this video right now. I guess we can give K Smalls the benefit of the doubt of being just somebody who's not very familiar with video at all. Okay, so if she's claiming to be a video expert, she's lying to you. Or she knows exactly what she's doing and is intentionally deceiving you because it has worked. She's got over 18,000 views on a completely ridiculous, bogus video. Okay, now I'd love it if she made a video back proving what she said is correct. But I can tell you right now that her video is completely 100% bogus. Okay, let's go through the video now. So this is the surveillance footage of Chris Watts loading things into the truck. Now he doesn't ever load any bodies or anything on this side of the truck that we can see. He does go on that side a few times and we can't see what he's loading on there. I think that it's possible that we don't ever see any of the moments where he's loading bodies onto the truck because the motion sensor didn't pick him up. He's far away, and sometimes these cameras do not pick up motion if it doesn't change the pixels on the screen enough. So that's what motion capture does. It keeps a frame of what the scene looks like, and if there's enough change to it, it starts recording, right? And you have such little change over there when Chris Watts is walking behind his truck. All right, you might not see him on some of the occasions that he's walking by. You do see him on some of them. All right, so let's take a look at the first thing she's claiming. She's claiming that Chris Watts' father is at the scene. Look at this. Oh, wow, look at that. It's Chris Watts' father. Look at it. You can tell that right there. That's Chris Watts. Chris Watts. That she intentionally pauses it right here under the light. Right next to the light. So the light's beaming on his head, and she goes, look, his hair's white. His hair's white. Okay, everybody look. See that? Chris Watts' father. August 13th. And she didn't even have the time right on there. It was 50 seconds into that clip. That's not Chris Watts' father. I'll even zoom in. And if you notice, she applies a blur filter to all of her images to further confuse people and to make what she's saying believable. But this is the exact moment in time. Notice the right hand there, the left hand, the white sort of logo on the shirt there. And if you look there, look how distorted his face looks there. He's not wearing a mask or anything. That's just one of those frames that it looks like that. But when you watch it full speed, at its regular distance, it looks normal. But when you zoom in on an image like this, it becomes very pixelated and you get distortion from the compression. So we have that part, and Chris Watts is moving around, and the other part that she claimed was the black shoes and dark hair. Now I will say that yes, it looks like his shoes are light here. You can see his right shoe there. But we don't know how long it is until, see, look how dark it is outside now, and then we go here, it's a lot lighter. Okay, so he may have changed his shoes too, right? A lot of criminals will do that. So he may have had the white shoes on in the house, then changed to the darker shoes to go out to the oil well where he buried the two girls and Shanann. Now right here, they're claiming, look, black shoes, dark hair. Yes, he had dark hair in both shots. You just have a shot here where the light's hitting his head and it's distorted. But if you actually look at the video here, look when he's walking right here. I'm gonna go one frame at a time.
Two girls? What do you mean, Gray? How come you didn't say their names?
And it comes. You can see it right there. See, that's Chris Watts. And then he gets under the light there, and it really lights up his face. And then you see him pass the car and then come back with the gas cans. Now you see the back of his hair, and that's Chris Watts, right? And he still has the same shoes on. They're a little bit lighter looking with the light there, so we don't know if it's just shining off of his dark shoes or he changed his shoes later. But that is Chris Watts. He has, if you look at this shot right here, he's got the patch on his left shoulder. See that? Right there and right there. And he comes back, puts the gas can in the back there, and then as you see him turn again, there you see the patch again on his shoulder right there. It's kind of small, but you can definitely see the patch on his shoulder. So that is Chris Watts. Unless you're saying, oh, his dad wore the same jacket.
Hey, Lanky Tor, thank you.
His dad wasn't there, okay? And his dad, by the way, is a large person. Look, he's much bigger than Chris. That person in the video is thin and trim. This guy, you know, he's probably had better days in terms of weight. You know, he probably weighs 200 and some odd pounds, and Chris Watts definitely doesn't look like this. All right, so that definitely is not Chris.
Thank you, Lanky Tor.
100% not Chris Watts' dad. I know it's disappointing to some of you who really wanted to believe it. You believe all the sensationalistic garbage that's portrayed in the case. We now have people creating posts with pictures of aborted fetuses so that we can see what possibly it looked like when Shanann's fetus was aborted naturally. I think that's absolutely disgusting. It has no value whatsoever in this case. He admitted to doing it. Showing stuff like that is just sensationalistic garbage. Okay? In this next part here, Kay Smalls is claiming that when Chris Watts pulled the truck forward, as you can see right here, let's show that. See, there's the truck backed in. He's now done loading everything up. He pulls the truck forward, and then he goes, oh, I forgot something. Oh, I forgot something. And then he stops the car, gets out of the car, walks back in, and you can see him right here that she used this to show that he had black shoes. Yep, we see that those look darker. Could be the light, or it could be different shoes. It's later in the morning. The motion sensor probably turned off for a while. He probably went into the house and then maybe he changed his shoes. We don't know, right? But it's definitely the same person. Notice the patch again on his left shoulder right there. I guess you didn't want to point that part out in your video because it wouldn't sell your bullshit story that you're trying to sell. So then he goes in the garage, then he comes back out, and look, he's walking, he's just walking, he's walking, and she's claiming right here on this frame that I paused it on. Notice how hers is blurred again, and I've got the clear version. I'll zoom in on it. Right there. So this is what it really looks like. See how pixelated it is? It's all broken up. You can tell it's the same shot, even has the dark spot there, foot's off the ground. And she's using that to point to little things, saying, look, that's the head and the legs. Look at the feet are right there.
Just
the
like
legs,
Delphi,
yeah,
remember
look,
that? Same shit in the Delphi case.
It's not. It's not what it is. Watch. Let's go back a little bit. See right there, he's walking. He's not carrying anybody. Right? You see that? And then right there, if you think, oh, look, that's a head or something. That's a head. Look, look, look. It's not. It's not a head. I'll continue the video right after. Look. That little part that you see right there that they were claiming is, you know, legs and feet and all this kind of stuff. Watch. I'll move one more frame. That's actually in the background there. And see how pixelated that is? All of it. He's not carrying a body there. This right here isn't even something he's carrying. That's one of those pixelation artifacts. Watch, the next frame. It's not there anymore. It actually stays a little bit there as part of the pixelation problem. And then when you move forward, look at, see how things sort of fixed up in these frames? Right? That's just the look in there. It has nothing to do with oh wow, he's carrying a baby. Oh look, he's carrying one of the children. Yeah, so let me get this straight. You want us to believe that he backed in and then he pulled out, then he went, oh my god, I forgot something. And then he goes back and grabs one of his kids and then cavalierly hangs him by his left arm, and then what, flings him into the truck too and drives away? I mean, Chris Watts is an idiot, but that's ridiculous. Alright, so this video that was put out by Kay Smalls is completely bogus, everyone. And I want you to realize that when she starts putting out more that will be similar. Because anytime someone puts out videos like this, they keep on going. They will keep on putting out video after video of sensationalistic garbage because they know exactly what people want to believe, just like in the Kanika Jenkins case and in the Abby and Libby case. Alright? So until next time, everybody, be safe out there.
My team and I always
Hey, an ad. I got an ad on my own
managing
video.
our tasks until what?
Wow, awesome. But nobody hangs around for the conclusion, so. Jeez. YouTube, couldn't you put that at the beginning? Jesus. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good debunk. It all just kind of came together as I was doing it. Like, oh wow, this is so obvious. Yep, good night. Ooh, there goes my stomach. I think I'm going to make this a shorter night too, although I came on earlier than normal. So, hey, Lanky Tour, where are we going to travel on the exit on the Furious Freaks music sound? Where are we going? And before we go, I'm going to say thanks to Jay Case and Lanky Tor twice. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. For the super chats. Is Lanky Tor still around? I was trying to get you to choose a place to fly to. I've never heard of a place called Her Battery Died. That's a weird one. Let me see. I'll go to, let's see. How about, Iceland? Yeah, let's do Iceland. There we go. I've been to New York 100 times on here. What's weird about Iceland and Greenland is Iceland's green and Greenland's icy. Never understood that. Although Iceland does have some on it. Hey, all right. Wendy Whitaker. Bam!
Oh my god.
Woohoo! All right, everybody. Hey, thank you for showing up tonight and hanging in there, going over some stuff, having a few technical difficulties. I appreciate all of you, and it's been cool sort of collaborating with different YouTubers lately. I don't think we've been doing that enough as a community. All right. So that's all I've got for the show tonight. Thank you for all the support you give me. And to cut over to the inside the house shot with the Christmas tree. Earlier, my wife was sneaking around putting stuff there on the live I was on, and she didn't realize it. All right? So that's all I got for you tonight. And boom! And until next time, everybody, be safe out there.